It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda business starts here. All right. Well, welcome to Mind Your Business, Deshun. I'll let you tell the people who you are and what you do.
So I am Deshun Simmons. I am the Assistant Communication and Development Officer here at the BEDC, and here to talk about the Summer Student Entrepreneur Program, which I am the program coordinator for.
He's doing my job already. So if you didn't know, he works in my unit. So I'm happy to have you here to talk about this program that has become a staple event for us at BEDC. So what is the Summer Student Entrepreneurship Program?
So the program is an 8-week course, which is really designed to help spur that next wave of our island's entrepreneurs. So it's an 8-week course where we teach them about SWOT analyses, creating a business plan, revenue, how to price your products and everything. So that first 2 weeks we really focus on the training, the entrepreneurial mindset, and then the next 6 weeks is really just them just pushing their business, selling, and making that money.
Okay. All right. So in terms of who is the program targeted to? You said summer students, but what do you mean?
So the age range right now is 16 to 23, but we have made exceptions in the past where we've taken students as young as 13.
Okay.
And if we do accept students that are younger than 16, it's mostly just seeing if they're geared in, if they really know what their business is about, and then we'll make those exceptions. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So if someone's interested, how do they apply?
So they will just go to bedc.bm. Under courses and events, there is a little tab that says Summer Student Entrepreneur Program. They go on there, kind of read through the criteria, what they have to do, and then just fill out the application. And then once they do the application, we review them, and within our unit, we review the applications, reach out to them to set up interviews, and then have interview dates set up. And then, unfortunately, we can't accept everyone. There's only 10 spots available. I know. We won't accept them all because most of them have really great ideas. But unfortunately, we can only take 10. So then we whittle it down to those 10 and then let them know if they've been accepted.
So you mentioned criteria. So can you talk a little bit about that and who is the applicant, the ideal applicant, I would say?
I would say, so we mostly want someone who has a business idea already.
Okay.
Just so that they can kind of hit the ground running once they hit that third week. Because we kind of want them within that first 2 weeks to develop that idea a bit more and then hit the ground running, like I said, in the third week. So some of the criteria is, since this is a bit of a full-time commitment, so we're looking for someone who's does not already have a job or isn't going to have a job during the summer, must be Bermudian, must be between the ages of 16 and 23, but we'll make some exceptions.
Okay.
And I think that's mostly it for the criteria.
So what if it's a student and they're resident in Bermuda? If they're not Bermudian, they can't participate?
Unfortunately not.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk a little bit about what the student gets, right? So you mentioned the training and all of that, but what else is entailed in the actual program?
So the program is actually mirrored a bit from the workforce development program that they have over there. So we do give them a stipend. So we give them $900 up front to start their business. And then for each week that they check in, so within that 6-week period, they will meet with the program coordinator, which is myself. And then as long as they're meeting certain milestones and checkpoints that they want to that they have set for themselves, but also some that we set, we just want to make sure they're hitting that. They also get paid an additional $100 for that. They don't have to pay it back, because that's the question I always get. How much we got to pay back? They don't have to pay back anything as long as they meet those milestones and everything.
So I guess that's why you have a limitation on the number,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Because there is some output, monetary output from BEDC, which of course is budgeted, right?
Exactly.
So within that budget, there is allocation for up to 10 students.
Yes.
So in addition to the $900, they get the $100 stipend. And then what is the expectation after they've attended like the 2-week kind of learning process? What's the expectation after that?
So it's really just them just pushing their business, and really it's just us seeing that they're making the effort to push the business. Because we have had students in the past who might not make money right away and get a bit discouraged, and they think, oh no, I'm going to get in trouble. But as long as we see that they're making the effort, and maybe it's just, the supply chain issues.
Yeah.
Maybe things are just taking a little longer to get in. Maybe something that they thought would work in the beginning isn't really working, and they've had to pivot a bit. But as long as they can communicate that to us, I think we're not going to penalize them for that. But we really just want to see them out there selling. So in the past, the Washington Properties has sponsored a space in Washington Mall for the students to be able to go to. The students have been at Harbor Nights, and then we normally also do a City Hall launch.
Okay.
So
Okay. So talk about some of the students that have gone through the program, some of the businesses that have been started in the program.
So we've had, my first year that I was here, we had Sabriana Wilkinson, who started Nurture Leish, which is a company designed to help breastfeeding moms, an idea that, as a man, I would not have thought of, but she did really well. Also, we had Keon.
And she's actually in our incubator
Bermuda.
program.
Exactly.
So she's continued on with that, which we're really excited about.
Exactly. And then also last year, we had Antoine Jones of Capsule, who focused on vintage and thrifted clothing, but also he would
Upscale.
Upscale, yeah, exactly.
Upcycle, upscale, something like that.
He would take, jeans that are way past their shelf life and kind of repurpose them into a bag, a purse, or whatever it is. And then also one of our youngest students that we had, Aaron Lugo Jr., who did Lugo's Mighty Mower, still kicking, still out there mowing lawns and everything. So he's doing really well. And he was actually one of the students that was really geared and really focused. So we've seen quite a few businesses come through.
And he was 13,
and also continue.
Right?
Yeah, he was 13.
Yeah.
So
I guess that's what you mean when you say you will make exceptions. Because the idea, I think, in the program is that at 16, you have a bike, right? You have a little bit of autonomy. You can go and set up and sell where you need to sell. But in the instance of a Aaron, who is 13 or so, we do ask the parents to be involved. Can you talk a little bit about that piece of it?
Yep. So, even just from a safety perspective, right? Like a 13-year-old out for hours on their own kind of doing things. So that's why we kind of also encourage the students to band together. So even if someone in the program is 18 and might have access to a car, maybe they'll all go together. But just from that, we also just want to see the parents at any age to be very involved and very engaged, but also just as they're younger to be a bit more engaged in case they need to get, like in the case of Aaron, well, he's not going to take his lawnmower on the bus.
Right,
so
right.
how is he going to get around?
That's
so
right.
yeah, so that kind of thing. But yeah.
So I know historically with this particular program, sometimes it can be a challenge identifying entrepreneurs or young people. Some of them are switched on and they come looking for us. Others, not so much. So what can you say, or what are you doing to kind of get the word out there to promote the program and to get young people to apply?
Yeah. So one, doing things like this,
Okay.
trying to get the outreach out there, but also we're trying to set up some school tours to kind of go around to the schools to talk about entrepreneurship, even if some students don't apply to the summer student program. And then we also talk about the youth pitch competition that we have in November. But just kind of give them the idea of entrepreneurship, that it is a viable career, that it is something that they can do. And even in regards to the summer student program, there are some students that at the end of it are just like, I don't know if entrepreneurship's for me. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Some people have to go through that process to realize that something's not for them.
Right.
But at least they still have that entrepreneurial mindset kind of geared on. So we're doing some of the school tours, and we found that the school tours are actually really beneficial because myself and Dennis Carter, who's an MSME officer here, we went to Clearwater and we had some students that were didn't think that their idea could work and were very intimidated and didn't want to speak to the idea. But once they said it, I was like, oh, we had someone in the program the year before last who did that and, sold X amount of cookies or whatever. They're like, oh, I can make this a business. So I think just them seeing somebody and just understanding that they can make a business or money from their ideas is beneficial to them. And
I think one of the things that I think is great about this program is that we are providing that kind of seed capital, right? Yep. So the money that the students receive actually goes towards helping them to start their business.
Exactly.
So the money can be used to purchase products, to purchase a lawnmower, like in the case of Aaron. And these are items that we're not asking for them to come. So the goal is that once they start their business or launch their business over the summer months, that they can continue.
Yeah, exactly. So in the past, we've even, we're just not focused on products or physical something. We've also had students in the past that have done photography or animation. So they've used that money to buy, the specific software they need, because software can be expensive.
Yes.
And if they ever want to take their business to that next level, you got to spend some money. And then even we've had a girl the year before last who was into photography and realized that her camera was just a little old. So she bought a new camera and was able to, do more photo shoots and take better photos and everything. So even just that.
And she's booking business now.
Yeah, she really is. She really is doing really well. But I think them just knowing that they will have that startup capital is enough to just kind of click them in, gear in, okay, I can hit the ground running.
Yeah. So. I think it's important. Our organization supports entrepreneurs. So I think when we launched the Summer Student Entrepreneurship Program, it was keeping that in mind and helping young people just solve problems, right? So for me, when I say the entrepreneurial mindset, that's what I think of. What do you think of when you hear someone say trying to help young people have an entrepreneurial mindset?
I think having an entrepreneurial mindset at any stage in life, it's very hard to kind of click into people, because I think people have this very specific idea of how they think of entrepreneurship, or I don't need to go to school or anything. Yeah. But I think people don't realize that, you can still become a lawyer, a doctor, a plumber, an electrician, what it is. But if you still have that entrepreneurial mindset because you want to go and do business on your own, that's what you need. So we try to build the foundations of, entrepreneurs unfortunately have to wear all hats at the beginning. So accounting and making sure that you're planning financially correctly, making sure that your products are priced correctly, because that's something we see.
Yeah.
People ain't doing too sharp in that department. So
sometimes,
So just trying to create that mindset of making sure that you're checking all the boxes and everything.
And for me, to put it simply, like having an entrepreneurial mindset is really problem solving, right? It's identifying problems, and we always see them. And it's like, instead of complaining about them, what can you do, or what solution can you offer to fix this problem that we're all experiencing? And so even in organizations like ours and other government bodies, I think if you have that kind of entrepreneurial mindset, you start looking for solutions as opposed to saying, okay, this is not working, this is just how it is. You're always looking for a way to fix it or to make it better. And I really do think that that's what we need to nurture. So through this program, I feel like that's our kind of we're doing our part.
I mean, even just speaking to that with Antoine, I think what stood out with him was that he was like, I know nothing about making, a bag out of jeans or anything, but he was just like, I couldn't find my style. I couldn't find what it is that I was looking for. So that's when I started going to these thrift stores and being like, okay, this looks tattered. Let me upcycle it kind of thing. So even just having that mindset versus just like you said, okay, I guess I just got to buy the regular black tea or whatever's here. So just having that mindset of, like you said, having a solution or trying to find a solution to the problem that you're having, I think it's very beneficial to anyone. So.
Yeah. And for him specifically, I think he is kind of in a kind of social entrepreneurship space where what he's doing has a positive impact on society and the community, right? So now, instead of this being thrown out and misused, you're recycling or upcycling, if you will. And so now it's repurposed into something else that can be used. And so we do want to encourage people, especially nowadays, these young kids are all about, the environment and about what's wrong. My son's steady telling me what I should and shouldn't be doing. My daughter even is like, we shouldn't be using plastic bottles and all that kind of stuff. You're right, honey. But encouraging them that, you can actually have a social mindset and create something or solve a problem that has a kind of social, societal solution.
Exactly.
And so I think we really want to encourage students to apply who feel that way. We had two young people, I forget, brother and sister. You remember?
Lauren and Joshua Allen.
Yes.
And she just launched a book not too long ago.
Did,
she did. So she's doing really well. I've heard really good feedback. And Josh actually reached out to me maybe a couple months ago to ask about one of our other programs and said that he still has his original idea ready. He just needed to graduate from university first, and then now he kind of wants to focus on it. So,
and can you just share a little bit about that for those who don't know? What his idea was, I think, was taking plastics and stuff and turning it into like branded items. Like BDC could have a cup that was recycled, but with our brand
logo
on this,
and everything.
Logo and everything.
Yeah,
on
so
it.
he wanted to more so repurpose glass.
Yeah, glass.
So glass
Got
and
you.
everything. So kind of take glass from bars
Bottles
and businesses and everything,
yeah.
and you're going to throw them out anyway. And I know that the government here does kind of repurpose glass into like asphalt and different things, but there's still plenty of other glass that he could use. So I think he was looking at partnerships first, and then just kind of build out that way. So and even just speaking to the societal, I wrote a little article a couple months ago for BEDC, and Gen Z looks at entrepreneurship on how they could benefit society.
Right.
So that's at the forefront of their mind, not the back. So
exactly.
I think as this program progresses, we're going to see more and more of that, of how does my business positively impact the environment, society, and not just take sort of thing.
And I don't think that the idea about benefiting society and making money are mutually exclusive. You know what I mean? I think they can go hand in hand, because sometimes people who have that kind of community give back kind of thought process think, oh, well, I can't make any money from doing this. It has to be a nonprofit.
It has to be one or the other.
It doesn't. Yep. You know what I mean? You can give back. I'll use Tom's, the shoe guy, the shoes, right? Yep. Like for every shoe you buy, he gives one. Yep. So that is a for-profit business making millions, if not billions of dollars. But in doing so, he is giving back. So I do think, and I would encourage people who have ideas that have some sort of a social impact or community impact to apply to the program, because there is a way, and going through that 2 weeks of kind of education and training does give us an opportunity to help you to understand and identify how you can actually make money and still
and it is value added to the business as well, because I think within society right now we are spending more money in places that have schemes or anything in that benefits society and the environment and everything. We're being a bit more cognizant of where we spend our dollars and how we spend our dollars.
That's right.
Because I actually did see, I didn't see it for myself, but I saw it online that Buzz has actually switched over to like these cardboard boxes for their food. So even just that, I think will get people a bit more geared in versus just plastic all the time. So
I mean, even we did a partnership with
Beyond
Plastics, and with the new legislation around not using single-use plastics, there's opportunity for businesses there, right?
Exactly.
So I'm going to throw this out there if anybody's listening. So is there an opportunity for people to have these reusable containers? So you're getting your takeout, you get the container, you bring the container, they fill it or whatever, and then maybe you leave it and somebody comes across, picks them up, cleans them, and then gets them back out to the various restaurants. So it's not even paper. It's not. It's actually a reusable container. So either stainless steel, or because they do that in other places, but we just don't see that here. And so I do think that there's an opportunity. That's a service, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're creating this opportunity to pick up the things and take them around to the various restaurants. But then you're also,
and it takes the burden off the restaurant.
Exactly.
Right? So it's like I don't have to think about it because I contracted it out
That's
to
right.
whoever's listening and wants to do the business. So.
That's right. So, I mean, I'm really hopeful and excited about this new crop of young people that are going to be applying. Can you just remind people what the deadlines and dates are for applications?
So the application deadline is Sunday, April 30th.
Okay.
By 11:59 p.m. Not midnight. And then we kind of go through an interview process, reviewing and everything. And if I remember correctly, I believe that we will let every student know if they've been accepted into the program by May 22nd.
Okay.
The program doesn't start until July 3rd, until August 25th. But we wanted to give enough time because, that's study time. That's end of year exams. So we also wanted to give them time to study and not have to worry about this extra thing that, I need an A, not a C.
Right.
But also, we found in the past that if you waited just a little too long, students had already found
jobs.
And then, like I said earlier, unfortunately, it is a full-time commitment. So we just wanted to give them a bit more time to figure things out. So because we have some students that are like, oh man, I really wanted to apply, but I already found a job.
That's right.
Because I didn't hear back.
Right,
so that's why we just kind of shifted everything
forward, which makes sense because I feel like once you can go through that application, before school is out, then you don't have to continue looking. You can relax. You feel like, I know that I'm going to start this on the 3rd, and I'll have X amount of dollars. One of the things that I do like about this particular program is that, yes, we do a stipend, but unlike the summer student employment program at Workforce Development, when you start your own business, the amount of earnings that you have is really built on how much you put into it, right? So there's no ceiling per se. There's a minimum that you're going to get from participating in the program, but there's no maximum. That maximum is set by you and what you're willing to sell and how much products you get out.
Because we have had students that have, like, I was like, that's how much you made in 6 weeks. So some students do really well, and also some students kind of get a bit discouraged when they don't see those high numbers. But I think also what we try to instill in is that just because someone, let's say, is making $1,000 a week, that doesn't mean that that's all profit. Right. So if you're making $500 a week, but your expenses is only $50, that's quite substantial versus the person who made $1,000 and the expenses were $800. So we try to help them understand a bit, but I think just however much they put in, they will see. They will see,
return. So talk about the little competition element that you have included in the program.
Yeah, so on top of the money that we give them and then the minimums that they make, the top 3 students, revenue earners, get additional prize money on top. So we don't like to say it up front because we don't want to people to get discouraged or to submit false things. But they just know that there is additional prize money on top of whatever that they'll make. So once students kind of hear that, then they hit the ground running and they're like, okay, I'm about that money. I need to buy that bike. That bike. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, what is the position on students who have participated in the program before?
So we would prefer students that haven't been in the program, but we also recognize that there are some students who might have been in the program in the past that want to refine or maybe pivot their business a bit, or maybe even just have a whole new idea, which we have seen in the past. So we don't want to discourage that at all. So the BEDC is definitely here to help out as much as we can. So we won't limit them if they've been in the past.
Yeah, I mean, we have in the past, but I think to that point, we're trying to have as many touch points as we can, right? So if you've gone through the learning and everything, we hope that has caused you to have this kind of entrepreneurial mindset so that you know what you need to do, even if it is a new business. But having said that, there's always an opportunity to continue to support that kind of entrepreneurial endeavor. So if you have gone through it, then that means you should really hit the ground running. And the amount of support financially, as well as mentoring that you would need should be lessened, I guess.
And we have found that with students. So in the past, I've only had one student that I was aware that was on the program, and she needed little to no handhold, and she was like, I know what I got to do.
I got this. Yeah. The other thing I want to talk about is, and this is for any parents or guardians that are listening, is the development, the confidence builder. Like, we've seen students come in that have been so reserved, nervous even. They don't even
barely
speak
even
up.
say a sentence. And at the end of it, they were like, I'm like, who was that came on July? Who this new person? But just the level of confidence that we see within themselves, within public speaking, pitching their business, but also just them having that reassurance and that confidence of, oh, this is a good business idea. Maybe I'll table it for now, and then I'll come back to it at Christmas break or summertime or whatever. But just the confidence that you see at the end of it. And I've even had parents come up to me and say, thank you. This program was great. My son, daughter, whatever. seems much more confident. I've even had students say the same thing. So it's very gratifying to see and fulfilling to see that.
It is. So,
and as a parent, you're just like, oh, you can do more. You do have that. You do have that drive. Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So I'm hopeful that people hear this and understand what we're trying to do, how we're trying to support, and that at the end of the day, it really is the young people that benefit and the community at large, because now we're putting this new confident person back into society. And so the skills that they learn as they're developing their entrepreneurial mindset can take them further, even if they decide that entrepreneurship isn't for them, right?
Just like you said, having that mindset will definitely propel them forward. So I will just say, because we've had this in the past, if students are listening or young people are listening, please tell your parent or guardian that you've applied to the summer student program. Because we've had in the past where I'm calling like, hey, just to let you know, you're the interview, and the nana's like, huh? Or the mama's like, huh, what did you talk about? And vice versa.
Right.
We've had parents apply for their child, and the child doesn't know. So please communicate.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the application and how to respond to get an interview, right? Can you talk a little bit about the types of questions that are going to be asked so that you can tee them up? Because we've had sometimes the students respond and it's like, it doesn't give us much to work with. So can you talk a little bit?
So some of the questions are for us to see how much you understand your business. Okay. So like, what is your business? If you were to be accepted, what would you use the money for? Who are your competitors? Do you have any competitors? Please don't say nobody. Yeah.
For y'all who are listening, please don't say there is nobody doing what I'm trying to do, because
there is.
There is.
Yeah, there's always competition.
There's always competition, which is a good thing, right? The key when answering that question, I would say, is to talk about what you're going to do different. Like, how is the water you're selling going to be different from the water that's already being sold? And we literally had someone that sold water and won the you know what I mean? And won the competition, because guess what? He was selling water on a beach where nobody was selling water. So I think it doesn't have to be like this brand new idea that doesn't exist. That rarely, it does happen, but it rarely happens.
And we don't expect them to know everything coming in. We just want to see that they've actually taken the time to think about the process. Because even just speaking to the competitor thing, I read somewhere that Netflix, their main competitor is sleep.
It is.
Because if you're sleeping, you ain't watching Netflix.
That's right.
So, I mean, obviously they have, Disney Plus or whatever, but that's their main, because they want you to, yes, I am still watching. When that pop-up comes up, yes, I'm still watching. So we just want people to think more outside the box, out of just no, I don't have competitors, because you do. And we, like I said, we just really just want to be able to see that the students have made the effort to think about it. But also we find that there are some students that can't get their point across through the application process, but we want to see that you've done it. And then when we do the interview, that's when we kind of see some of the students shine a bit more. It's like, oh, okay, you were almost a no.
Right.
But because now I understand what it is that you're trying to convey, then it kind of changes our mindset. So that's also why we have that face-to-face or through Zoom interview, because it adds more than what you might have been able to do to the application.
Right, and not everybody's great at filling out an application, or maybe they haven't fleshed it all the way through and they still want to meet the deadline. That's understandable. But we do, because really, at the end of the day, besides the 2 weeks, we're asking for these young people to be out there working and, selling products or services. So it's less hand-holding in that aspect. So you have to be willing to do that, or have given some thought to how you're going to do it.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, what you put in is what you get out. Exactly. So the more you're out there working and selling, the more you're going to get out of the program. And so I do think that I'm saying all that to say that, please, when you're thinking about it, even if it's an idea, just give some thought to how you're going to do it, where you would like to sell your products, and then we can provide support with helping them. So you talked a little bit about where they have sold in the past. Can you talk about how BDC supports in that regard?
So let's just say if somebody wants to sell at a park or a beach, we would help facilitate reaching out to the parks department, where they have sponsored in the past, the vending fees. You would have to sign up for a vending license through BDC at no cost to them, because we will provide that for them. Also, if they are a food-based business, we would help to facilitate them getting the prerequisites for the health license and everything, and we have that relationship with them. And then, like I said, Washington Mall, Harbor Nights, and everything. So we're really here for them, to support them in any way. And even if they think of any areas that they would like to sell that we haven't thought of, we would try our best to kind of help facilitate that.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a successful year. I'm putting it out into into the world. But just remind people how to apply, when to apply, so that they know what the deadlines and all that
are. Just go to bdc.bm, or even go to any of our socials, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn.
I know young people. Be like, if it's not on Snapchat, I don't know.
We're not on that. Just click the links and it'll take you to the page. Deadline is Sunday, April 30th by 11:59. And we will be reaching out to every application that comes through to set up interviews. Well, depending on how many applications we get.
I know.
We kind of whittle it down a bit, but we will reach out to everybody to let them know by May 22nd.
Okay. So April 30th, there you have a little bit of time. Applications are open now.
Yes.
So you can go on and fill it out. If you want to go on and check it out, that's fine. Just make sure you get it in and press submit.
And complete, please. I see some incompletes already. Please submit.
All right. Well, thank you, Deshun, for coming out and sharing a little bit about the program. We're looking forward to another successful year, and we are encouraging everybody, all these young people who haven't gotten a job yet, to please apply and take this opportunity to expand your entrepreneurial mindset.
Yes, definitely.
Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m., because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.